Now, these webinars come on a monthly basis, and it all ties into Royal LePage's promise to you. And that is that we will help you maximize your earning potential by providing you with powerful business tools, access to leads and referrals, and training for all stages of your career that builds your skills. And that's really what led to the Sales Success webinar series, where we're inviting industry experts in to really help enhance your sales development, to learn from them, and to talk subjects that reflect what is happening in real estate right now. I do want to mention also, we redesigned the webinar library, so you can check that out on the RLP network. I'll show you where that is later on. But I want to get off the mic, and I want to put things over to Shannon to present. So everybody, I'll push it over to Shannon.
Thank you so much, Mike. I'm so happy to be here. This is such a great opportunity to talk to Royal LePagers from coast to coast. I'm seeing some of your names pop up. I see some familiar names. I see some new names, and that's fantastic. I'm really excited to be here today to tell you a few things about how you can incorporate the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation into your business. And it's my assertion that you're actually going to gain more than you give. And you'll get some great examples today of how our agents are doing that. But before I do, I thought I would just tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in this amazing role as the executive director of the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation for about 7 years now. I started my career as a social worker. I worked in children's mental health and with families that needed assistance. So I've got sort of both sides of the road, so to speak. I was frontline, and now I'm kind of behind the scenes working with all of you to raise money for this important cause. I am a certified fundraising professional. I've been a professional fundraiser and manager in this sector for 18 years. People, when I first meet them, they'll sometimes say, "Oh, are you a realtor?" And I'll say, "Well, no, I'm a fundraiser." And I've just had the privilege of working with generous realtors for the past 7 years. I love hiking and cooking and travel. And I have to admit, I have been binge watching Netflix way too much, but I'm sure some of you can understand that. I was so happy to be part of the Iceland Challenge for Shelter last year and the Machu Picchu Challenge for Shelter in 2015. I love hiking. I love being outdoors. And a couple of years prior to going to Machu Picchu, I was in Utah, and I climbed this really treacherous mountain called Angel's Landing in Zion National Park. And I love being outside, and I love also using our fundraising opportunity with the Shelter Foundation to meet new people and to get outdoors. And you'll hear more about that soon. Mike's just working on some technical issues here. Hopefully we're okay and we're on board.
Just making sure everything's up and running, and it looks like we're all good.
Okay, so we are going to talk today about why agents, real estate agents, should support a charity in their community. It doesn't have to be the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation. Everything I'm telling you today can apply to other charitable endeavors you may be involved with. Of course, we would like you to incorporate the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation into your work. So that's why I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. I'm going to assume that some of you know a lot about our foundation and some of you know almost nothing. So I'm going to give you a little overview about who we are, why we do what we do. I'm going to tell you how you can get involved, and then end with how it can benefit you personally and professionally. That's what we're all about here, is helping you achieve greater sales and do more in your business. So we're going to make this as applicable to you as possible in that regard. I like to start with this quote. I think a lot of you have heard this. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And I think it's so meaningful that we're able to use the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation as a way of giving back and finding meaning in our own lives. And I've heard many of you talk about how your involvement with our foundation is professionally rewarding, but also has really done a lot to make you feel good about what you do in your job, in your work. And so we're going to talk about that today. So why should agents support a local charity? Really, to kick us off, it is an amazing point of distinction and differentiation for you. You can truly set yourself apart for doing good. And as realtors, as real estate agents, you are about building your brand, making sure that you are seen to be a helping person, a helping professional. And this can differentiate you from, let's say, peers or perhaps other brands in the community where giving back is not a part of what they do. So this gives you that sense of differentiation. We also know that this can help you to build your reputation, increase trust. Trust is the name of the game in real estate, isn't it? And being seen to be doing good can help to improve your reputation and strengthen trust, gives you an opportunity to strengthen relationships, both with your current clients, past clients, with your peers, and with prospective people that you meet in the community. It gives you an opportunity to strengthen relationships. It builds your brand, and it also helps you to show concern for others. And in our case here at Royal LePage, it really helps you to live our motto, helping you is what we do. And I think this is a great fit. Now, I love this quote: charitable giving and corporate philanthropy are a key pillar of consumer satisfaction. Simply put, people like to work with or buy from good people. And I think if you think about yourself too, you want to work with companies that you see to be good. You want to work with professionals who are good people. And this is something that your consumers and your clients are expecting of you as well. There's a lot of research on corporate social responsibility, and I picked out a few stats here that I think are particularly relevant to real estate professionals. 90% of people in this study said that they're more likely to trust and be more loyal to companies that back causes. 90%. 94% of people said they would actually switch to brands that support social issues. And I think that's a really, really good point to make here, that we are supporting a social issue, a cause that helps people live better, live safely. And 94% of respondents said they'd switch to brands that do this. And lastly, 84% would tell their friends and family about a company's social responsibility efforts. Think about the power of social media, things that get commented on Facebook, and how that can spread like wildfire. So this is a great opportunity to make sure that you're telling people about what we do here at Royal LePage as a company and what you're doing. People are very responsive to companies' social responsibility efforts. So what can you gain from supporting a charity? And we're going to go through this in the webinar. You get to gain community support and goodwill. Others in your community will more favorably look at you in your role as a real estate professional, but in everything you do in your business, because you're seen to be giving back. You can feel good supporting a cause you believe in. You can go to sleep at night knowing that you are contributing in a way that is changing people's lives. Gives you a chance to meet new people, new clients, other realtors, networking with your peers. You can connect with your clients in a different way. By that, I mean, instead of just calling them up and saying, hey, how's the house? Are you thinking about moving? Do you have any referrals for me? You can actually connect with your clients and say to them, listen, I'm participating in a charitable endeavor, a great thing that we're doing in the community, and I'd love to get you involved. It's just a great touch point for you with your clients. You have an opportunity to gain new skills if you want to participate organizing a fundraising event or take part in things like our Ride for Shelter. We had people learn how to ride a motorcycle for the first time and take part in our Ride for Shelter. And of course, there's our Challenge for Shelter treks, lots of new skills, physically training to participate in the event, people getting more fit and losing weight. And also, it's just a lot of fun to do the shelter fundraising activities that we are encouraging across the country. You can be recognized for your efforts, and I've got some great examples of media stories. Local media love to talk about what's happening in the community. They may or may not be interested in your real estate business, depending on the time of year. If there's, exciting things happening in real estate, of course, they're going to be interested in that. But they're also really interested in showing what you're doing to give back. So you can be recognized for your efforts in media, online, and also with your peers through our Shelter Foundation. We have the Shelter Awards and other opportunities for you to stand out amongst your peers for being involved with the foundation. And you can build your referral network through great networking opportunities within our family of Royal LePage Shelter Foundation supporters. The best thing I can think of is just on Facebook in the Royal LePage Conference Goers group or the Royal LePagers Facebook group. There's lots of discussion about shelter activities that are taking place, and it's a great chance to talk to your peers and build potential referral network. So let me just dive in and tell you, for those of you who know a lot about our foundation and are already supporters, thank you for being behind us. Some of this may be a little bit of a reminder for you, but for those of you who are new to Royal LePage or new to the foundation, I want to tell you why it is that we do what we do. We know that at Royal LePage, a house is only truly a home if the people who live there feel safe and respected and loved. But for thousands of women and children who experience violence and abuse in their own home, we make it possible for them to find that safety, hope, and help to rebuild their lives. We are the largest foundation in Canada dedicated exclusively to funding women's shelters and violence prevention programs, and you are all a part of that. You can talk about this when you're talking to your clients. We are the largest foundation dedicated to doing this important work. We've raised $27 million to date, and I encourage all of you to take a look for the most recent REM Real Estate Magazine center spread. There's an ad about the work that we've done championing our cause in the community. Last year was our most successful year, and again, to date, $27 million. We're the only real estate company with our own charity. We've won numerous awards for the work we're doing. The Government of Canada gave us the Canada's Volunteer Award in the Business Leader category in 2016, and the Canadian Franchise Association named us the Outstanding Corporate Citizen in 2015, the only real estate company that's ever won this award. So an amazing shout out from the franchise sector. And Royal LePage Canada covers all of the administrative costs for the foundation. So 100% of the money that you donate, of the funds that you raise, goes to our cause, goes to local shelters in the communities where you live and work. So it's an amazing model. And I want to say thank you to all those of you who have already supported us over the years, those of you who are signing on now. It's just an amazing accomplishment. So why do we do what we do? Just to give you a quick snapshot of the issue, on any given night, about 3,500 women and their 3,000 children stay in a shelter to escape violence. About half of all women will experience at least one violent incident in their lifetime. And 67% of us in a recent study said that they personally know a woman who has been abused. And sadly, over 360,000 children witnessed their mother being abused at home. 1 in 3 teenagers recently reported having experienced violence in their dating relationship. And these are teenagers we're talking about. So you can imagine that is not a great thing to get started out in life, to have the experience of violence when you're a teenager. On a monetary side, about $7.5 billion is spent every year to deal with the aftermath of domestic violence in Canada. And sadly, every 6 days in Canada, a woman is killed by her current or former partner. The headline at the bottom of your screen on the right says 5 Ontario women have allegedly been killed by men in their lives in 2018, and that was only in January. So 5 women in Southern Ontario were killed in 2018, allegedly by their husband or boyfriend. So this is a significant issue. We are truly saving lives in the work that we're doing. We are offering shelters the opportunity to provide counseling and emotional support, employment training to help women get on their feet, and job placement, all sorts of assistance around legal issues, health and housing, and generally speaking, support for children and youth, and also renovations to shelters. We've had Royal LePage offices that are building new shelters. Over 20 years, we've done amazing things, supporting 200 shelters annually and helping more than 30,000 women and children. We support about 30 violence prevention programs every year, including those focused on healthy relationships for youth. We have our national garage sale for shelter, which I'll talk to you more about soon. We're a sponsor of a website called sheltersafe.ca. It's the only resource in Canada that provides the 24/7 emergency contact info for all shelters. We're proud to support that as a national sponsor. We do this through commission donations that many of you provide, local fundraising events, national fundraising events and campaigns, and auctions and other fundraising at our conferences. How you can get involved in a very high level: you can sign up to be a commission donor. You can organize a fundraising event in your community with your peers or on your own. You can take part in your office's fundraising events, and I'll give you some great examples of those shortly. We have our Shelter Blooms Royal LePage Red branded tulips that are available on the red market late summer, and you can use them as great pop-by gifts and build them into your marketing. If you shop on the red market, our e-store, you get a percentage of all sales on the red market is donated back to the Shelter Foundation. You may not know that, but make that something that you consider if you're buying items to use in your business. You can take part in shelter auctions and other fundraising at all the Royal LePage conferences. It's a great time. Our commission donor program, let me just spend a minute telling you about that for those of you who don't know about it. This is a great program where you can decide the amount of your choice that you would like to donate per deal. You can organize this with your admin in your office, or you can sign up at commissionedbyyou.ca. That really adds up at the end of the year, even $20 per deal, and all the money can stay in your community to help women and children. You get a special logo you can use in your marketing. You're highlighted on the agent search function on royallepage.ca. There's a tick box that actually says shelter donor. So if someone's looking for an agent in their community, only those commission donors will come up on the agent search function. And of course, you get a tax receipt at the end of the year. Here's a few examples of some of our logos that you can use in your marketing materials. You can get the proud supporter logo on the RLP network. There's a donor logo. We also publish something called the top donors list in March, just in time for the spring market, where we recognize the top 1%, 10%, and 25% of donors. And if you're in that category, you can get a special logo that you can use. We have sign riders that you can get the image for and create a sign rider for your signs. We also have, as I mentioned, our Shelter Award program. So if you're lucky enough to be named the Shelter Award winner in your province, or you can use that special logo in your materials as well. So let me just switch gears for a minute and tell you about one of the ways that you can, again, build your profile and potentially gain business by organizing a fundraising event in support of the Shelter Foundation. This gets your name out there in the community when you're advertising the event, gives you an opportunity to reach out to local business partners when you're asking them to sponsor or perhaps donate an item for an auction at your event. There's a great sort of quid pro quo thing that happens with local businesses. When you're supporting them, they want to support you. So it's a great way of publicizing their support of your event and also getting your name in front of their clients. As I mentioned earlier, it gives you a chance to connect with your current clients and your past clients when you want to invite them to come out to these events. Local media will profile you, and you can create buzz through social media. And there's some examples that I'll give you in a few minutes about that. So here are some of the office and agent-driven and organized events that have come to our attention over the years. Great Shelter Foundation fundraising events. And I hope it'll just give you a few ideas of things that you may want to look at organizing if you want to do an event. The Walk a Mile in Her Shoes is a high-profile event focused on violence against women, where men wear red high heel shoes and walk up and down main streets. Mike is looking at me like, Got some great pictures in a second on that. You can do live and silent auctions at your event. Great way of raising money. You can organize a game night, a cycling event, if cycling is your community's thing. Golf tournaments are huge. Curling bonspiels, family fun days are a great way to involve kids. You can do a holiday themed event. Halloween is a great time to do an event. Valentine's Day. What about Mother's Day? Wouldn't it be great to do maybe an afternoon tea for your clients on Mother's Day? If you're not participating in the National Garage Sale for Shelter, that is, which happens on the Mother's Day weekend. You can do them both. You can do your afternoon tea maybe the weekend before in celebration of Mother's Day. Christmas, obviously, is a great time. Back to school. That's some themed events you may want to look into doing. We've had offices do fishing derbies, bowling tournaments. This was a bowling tournament with a 1950s theme. So everyone got dressed up in their best 1950s bowling outfits. It was a really fun event. Bake sales. You can even just do a bake sale in your office. Cupcake Fridays is a great way of raising money around the office. You might want to do a barbecue lunch or a dinner. I was out west recently and one of our brokers said, you know what? I'm going to do a $20 hot dog sale in honor of Royal LePage's 20th anniversary. What a great thing to do, a $20 hot dog. I thought that was great. I said, are you going to do a gourmet hot dog? He said, no, I'm just going to do a cheapy hot dog, but it's $20 for 20 years. So it's a great, you can come up with lots of creative ways of incorporating fun into your fundraisers. Comedy nights, afternoon tea, as I mentioned. And you can also do fundraising at established community events. If your community does like a parade or any kind of harvest festival, you can do fundraising at that established event. Put your Royal LePage sign out there, get some promotion for your business, and also give back. So I'm going to give you some examples of some agent and office events here. Love these events. This is Rebecca Permack from Coquitlam, BC. Does a pumpkin giveaway. She does a massive community-wide Easter egg hunt, incredibly successful, and her name is all over it, as is the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation and her local shelter. I know that Rebecca would be happy to tell you about her events if you want to ask her about that. Jerry Allenbach is currently in the midst of his 3rd annual Beards on Ice. This is a really cool cross-country skating event. Now, granted, it takes Jerry's personal time and obviously a little bit of his own resources to travel across country. But what he's done that's really cool in this fundraising event is he's built in the networking aspect to the event and is inviting other realtors in these communities, other Royal LePage realtors primarily, to come out, skate, make a donation to shelter. And it gives him an opportunity to meet new people, and they talk about their passion for giving back to the Shelter Foundation. And again, a great networking way, a great way of building networking into your fundraising. Here's a team, a group of agents from Royal LePage Frank Real Estate, Sue, Jane, and Dina. They did this is a very cool thing and really trendy these days, axe throwing. Who knew? Great fun event where they invited all of their clients and the local community to get involved. And it was just a great way of profiling what they were doing for the Iceland Challenge for Shelter and also bringing people out. Trish Kondo did rock and roll bingo for Shelter, another really fun game night, rock and roll bingo, really cool thing to do. Kyle Hislop in Chilliwack, BC, has done 3 distinct things in support of the Shelter Foundation that all involved a challenge, a personal challenge. 24/4 at the top there, he challenged himself to walk through Chilliwack, BC for 24 hours straight. It was a really tough thing, but he got some great publicity. He slept on the roof of his office, that picture at the bottom there, for near a week, and did a lot of radio broadcasts to raise funds for shelter. And in our 100th year of Royal LePage, he did 100 hikes in 100 days. So he's done some really cool outdoorsy things. And I think he may have just slightly inspired John Ross Parks from Royal LePage Pro Alliance in Belleville, who also slept on the roof of his office and did an array of really unusual and creative challenges during that week. It was November, it was cold. He raised over $25,000, lots of media attention. It was a really cool event. David Halls in Guelph did a car rally, got these classic cars out. Each team had to pay a certain amount of money to be in the rally, and it was a really fun event. And offices have done galas, snow-oriented events, ski and snowshoe days, lots of golf tournaments. I love the one on the right there with Royal LePage Coast Capital in Victoria. They've got popcorn and candy floss. Who doesn't want to eat popcorn and candy floss on a golf tournament on the golf course? Really fun event there. Fishing derby in Campbell River. Look at all those logos on that flyer. Think about how many businesses and individuals in the community this office talked to about their event. Great profile. Here's the Walk a Mile in Her Shoes. A few offices have participated. Royal LePage Atlantic, Royal LePage Gardner Realty, Royal LePage Village. Really, really good photo ops for the guys in their red high heel shoes. Again, game nights, Halloween chili bowl, lots of cool things that you can do that are fun. And the Royal LePage Winnipeg offices, there are 4 offices in Winnipeg. This game night is coming up on March 15th.
And one thing that I know, sorry, I'm just noticing this. And in terms of the way they're saying it, like here on the left one, guests compete in a fabulous feud competition at a fundraiser for Willow Place, a shelter for women's victims. And that's really cool because I noticed a lot of these where they're naming specifically which shelter in their area is actually, so really hitting that connection.
Yeah, well, a lot of what we do is, we're raising money, but we're also raising profile for the shelters. Shelters don't have the money or time to do advertising, as you can probably understand. So we're actually helping them do their work better. We're helping, Mike says, as putting their name out there, it helps people to know that they actually exist in the community, and that helps women and children find them when they need to. So let me just spend a minute on client appreciation events. I know a lot of you already do client appreciation events. Well, why not build a Shelter Foundation component into your existing event? You could organize a silent or a live auction to take place at your client appreciation event. I love the idea of maybe doing a drive, a pajamas drive, a toiletries drive, maybe gift cards for women and children staying at your local shelter. We often hear that shelters, believe it or not, are really in need of diapers and things for newborn babies that are in the shelter. Women come to shelter while they're pregnant or with young babies. So wouldn't it be cool if you were doing sort of a family-oriented client appreciation event, like a movie night? Why not have them bring new children's clothing or diapers and donate them to your local shelter? That again shows that you are doing good, you're giving back. You can ask for a monetary donation. We have little donation slips that we're happy to provide you with. Of course, if they make a monetary donation, they're eligible for a tax receipt. And why not invite someone from the shelter to come and say a few words at your client appreciation event? They will express their tremendous gratitude to you. Again, there's that halo effect. It makes you look really fantastic for doing good work in the community, and gives them a chance to also talk about the important work that they're doing and how your clients can help to support them. So just a few things to consider when you're organizing events. You want to think about who's the audience that you're trying to tap into. Again, a client appreciation event could be a much more grown-up cocktail party kind of thing. Or if you're wanting to reach out more broadly in the community and meet new people, you may want to do something that is, taking place during the day, a family fun day, that kind of thing. Set a fundraising goal, establish a budget, make sure you keep good records. The last thing you want to do is organize a fundraising event, promoting it as net proceeds to our local shelter, and discover at the end that you actually didn't make any money. It's really important that you set a fundraising budget in advance so that you can truly make a contribution to your local shelter via the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation at the end. Consider the timing of the event. Make sure you look into whether you need a liquor license or other permits. Definitely encourage you to recruit other sponsors. You have home inspectors you work with. You have lawyers that you refer to. You have other kinds of companies, stagers, decorators. Get them involved. They will often give you a financial contribution for just being able to be involved at the event in exchange for a little advertising that helps you to raise more money. Make sure you have a ticket sales strategy, know how you're going to promote and market your event. Make sure you know how you're going to distribute your tickets. You might want to use Eventbrite or other online registration sites. Make sure you understand that there are payment options like credit cards. There's usually a little fee associated with it, but it'll save you chasing down people for payment. We all know about e-transfers for sending money, but I would really encourage you, if you're truly selling tickets to an event, use something professional like Eventbrite to take care of that. Think about whether you need any volunteers before or on the day of the event. It's a great way of working with other agents in your office to organize an event together, or you might want to involve family members. Make sure you understand the difference between a sponsorship and a donation. Sponsorships, you're entitled to a write-off. It's a business expense. So again, if you have sponsors participating in your event, you can let them know they can write that off. A donation is a true gift with nothing expected in return. That's the definition of a donation, and you can get a tax receipt for that. We have templates for all of this. You don't have to reinvent the wheel or come up with the wording on your own. On the RLP network, there's a shelter tab. We have sponsorship letters, donation request letters, thank you letters, and other resources that you can use. Or you can contact us. I work with, I have a kind of lean and mean, or lean and friendly team, I should say. Carly Neal, Mike likes my lean and friendly. Carly Neal and Boitmalo Mogomela are my teammates, along with Evgenia Volodarsky is our finance person. But Carly Neal at royallepage.ca is your point person for any resources that you may need. She's also a great person and a sounding board to bounce ideas off of. So Carly and I are happy to help you if you're brainstorming ideas. Make sure you fill out what we call the event information form, which is also on the RLP network in the shelter tab. This just asks you to tell us what you're doing so we can promote it. We will actually list your event on the royallepage.ca national website, in the shelter section, there is an shelter events section, and we'll promote your events. And I am not an expert in search engine optimization by any stretch of the imagination, but I know that we want people to come to our site and be redirected to your site. So it's very important that you tell us what you're doing. And we will also talk about you in all of our social media channels, on the Royal LePage Leading Edge blog. We will write up your event after the fact. So make sure you tell us what you are doing so that we can help promote what you're doing and and everything that you are in terms of giving back. Let me again switch gears, tell you about a few personal challenge type events. Now, this is really cool. Over the years, when I first started, I heard about agents in their communities doing some really cool things to challenge themselves personally, but also to raise money for shelter. Why not sign up to run a marathon or even a 10K in your community and raise funds for the Shelter Foundation? Choose us as your charity of choice and raise funds. Or you might want to do an endurance hike, a paddle, a swim, a dance-a-thon. Why not do 4 hours of Zumba? How does that sound, Mike? 4 hours of Zumba?
Well,
that
that's
would
not
be
nearly enough Zumba.
Oh, that's not enough Zumba for Mike. He wants more than that.
That's called Friday. Okay,
that's Friday for Mike. But we will give you an online fundraising page at no cost to you. This enables you to collect donations by credit card from your network, your clients, family, and friends. And Royal LePage Canada covers the cost of this site. So if somebody makes a $100 donation, $100 goes to the cause. The 2.5% or 3% that normally goes to Visa or MasterCard, Royal LePage Canada will cover that as part of their supporting the Shelter Foundation. So make sure you use this tool. It's a great way of raising funds for the cause. And you want to ask your clients for their support and mention your efforts in your email marketing campaigns, in your e-newsletters, in your social media. Again, talk about what you're doing to raise funds for the foundation. It's a great way of building your profile. Here are just a few examples. I'm certainly not, I'm not going to cover them all. I've probably missed a few, but we know Sebastian in Vancouver set a world record climbing the Grouse Grind, a mountain in Vancouver, the most times in a single day. He raised money for shelter. Barbara Ann has done her marathon for shelter 4 times. I think she's done Boston. She's done Vancouver. She's done a few of the marathons. Great way of raising her profile, raising funds. Sharon did the paddle for shelter. Trish dove out of a helicopter, or it actually must have been an airplane. This was before my time. Trish Reed, I don't know if any of you know Trish, but she did skydive for shelter. Sarah did a cycling event. Lorraine really wanted to challenge herself to raise money and lose weight. So she did shedding for shelter. Melody May ran the 9/11 marathon in commemoration of the 9/11 incident, and she unfortunately lost a dear friend on 9/11. And so she ran the 9/11 marathon and raised money for shelter in support of women and children in Montreal. And as we speak, Chris Pittman and Rob Gardhouse, Chris from New Brunswick, Rob from Ontario, are on their way to Tanzania to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. They've raised over $30,000 for shelter. Isn't that amazing? They are humble guys. They would say, we're just 2 guys who like to climb up a hill. But no, they like to climb up a hill, and they also did events in their community. They asked their clients, friends, and family to donate. They're covering their own costs, of course, to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. But look at the profile that they're raising for the shelters in their community in doing this amazing endeavor. And of course, the ultimate challenge for shelter events, the Machu Picchu Challenge for Shelter in 2015, where we had 60 Royal LePagers from across Canada trek to Machu Picchu. And then 2 years later, in 2017, we had our amazing Iceland Challenge for Shelter. This was a fantastic opportunity for Royal LePage professionals from across Canada to challenge themselves personally, to train and get ready for what was a really difficult hike. Both of these are no walks in the park, no pun intended. These were physical and emotional challenges. The Iceland Challenge for Shelter raised over $660,000. Machu Picchu, we raised $500,000. And this was an amazing networking opportunity. And all of these agents who participated in the Challenge for Shelter treks now have a family, a referral network that will be with them for the rest of their professional careers. So just again, a great way of meeting your fellow Royal LePage professionals who are passionate about our cause. We are announcing another shelter trek in 2019. We're going to announce it later on this year, but we are going to join, we're going to do another challenge for shelter somewhere amazing in the world next year. So I encourage you to keep an ear out for our announcement later this year, and maybe you'll be one of those who will be on the next challenge for shelter treks. So just a couple of reminders about related to fundraising events. Make sure you submit event information form I talked about. Take lots of pictures. Smile into the camera, people. We have some fantastic pictures from across Canada that show all these great things you're doing. We have a few less than amazing pictures of the back of people or underneath a table or dark. So make sure you use your camera wisely. Send us a write-up so we can get you in Royal LePage Communications and in REM. Make sure you know about tax receipt rules, and make sure that you send any flyers to us before you publicize them so we can get approval on the logo. Mike, did you have a question?
In terms of this, like when you say check it, so like the tax receipt rules, they'll just check with you. You can walk them through all of this stuff.
You can email shelterfoundation@royallepage.ca. We can walk you through it and make sure that you're on the right path. So let me make sure I talk to you about marketing. This is really, really critical stuff. Being involved with the Shelter Foundation can help you by providing you content for your drip marketing campaigns and your e-newsletters. Gives you stuff to talk about, basically. Drives positive media attention. You can talk about it in social media, and again, you get that viral effect where people are talking about what you're doing and promoting you for the good work you're doing. Gives you a reason to contact your past clients. Hey, we're doing the National Garage Sale for Shelter. Do you have anything you'd like to donate? I'm happy to come and pick it up. And oh, by the way, how's your son? I understand he just got married, and I'm wondering, is he looking for a house? You know, again, that dialogue is very natural when you're calling your clients. And it gives you exposure to new prospects. It gives you the opportunity to maybe do a doorknob knocker campaign in your community. Patrice Gale, a realtor in Toronto, she takes part in the National Garage Sale for Shelter and dedicates a portion of her marketing budget to printing flyers and distributing thousands of them in her community as part of her marketing every year to promote the National Garage Sale for Shelter and her participation in that event. So it's a great way of getting your name out there in the community for doing good.
And again, that's a postcard. We all get hundreds. I get hundreds of postcards from realtors, and it's all, buy, sell, buy, sell. This is one where it's
exactly. It's a little less promotional in terms of your business, so to speak. However, it gives you a chance to talk about the good work you're doing in association with your name. Here's just a few headlines. Again, Royal LePage offices doing great things in their community, local coverage, great photos, and your name is getting out there both in print newspapers, community papers, or mainstream papers, as well as online. So again, let people know what you're doing. If you're a commission donor, put it in your email signature. Put a simple sentence that says, I'm proud to donate to my local women's shelter and the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation with every home that I help to, or every client I help to buy and sell a home. We can give you more elegant language than that. Carly can help you with that, or I can help you with that. But yeah, put it in your email signature. Put the proud supporter shelter logo on your website. Use it in your business cards. Order the sign riders. Have sign riders made. Put something in your buyer and seller presentation. Put a slide right in there that talks about how much money we've raised nationally as a foundation and the fact that you're a commission donor and that your office does fundraising events. Put a little sign or flyer at your open houses. Did you know that if you buy a house with me, I will make a donation to the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation in support of women and children in our community? Talk about it. If you do ads in your local newspaper, why not dedicate a portion of 1 or 2 ads per year to your charitable endeavors in support of the Shelter Foundation? And again, social media posts. We have within Facebook images that you can use about being a commission donor or to promote your support of the Shelter Foundation. Use that in your Facebook feed and your Twitter posts. Why not send a thank you note to your clients? I know that many of you will send thank you notes after a transaction has taken place, but why not do a little note that says, I was really pleased to make a donation to help another family find a safe and happy place to live, just like I was privileged to do with you and your family. Send a holiday card saying, at Christmas, I'm making a donation to the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation to help bring happiness and a safe place to families in our community. Talk about what you're doing. Check out the Smart Studio for postcards, doorknob hangers. In the next couple of months, we're going to have some new e-cards that are Shelter Foundation branded. I don't know that there's anything immediately on there right now, so just stay tuned for that. And again, word of mouth. Talk to your friends, family, and clients about what you're doing. So what can you do right now? If you are inspired, if you want to get involved, the easiest thing, what you can do right away is sign up to be a commission donor if you're not already. Go to commissionedbyyou.ca or look for the commission donor form in the RLP network in the shelter tab. You can donate even as little as $10 makes a difference, and you can promote that in all of your marketing. Why not help to organize your office's national garage sale for shelter? Ask if you have a committee in your office who is, teed up to do the garage sale for shelter, which is coming up on May 12th. If you don't have someone already organizing it, why not step up and maybe volunteer to be the chair or the co-chair and get involved in your national garage sale for shelter in your office and take part in your office's shelter fundraisers. Again, lots of really cool things going on at Royal LePage offices across the country. I love that photo in the middle of the screen there. That's Royal LePage Niagara, I believe. They do a great drive called, I've forgotten the name right now, but they're collecting these hampers. I think it might be called Hampers for Hope. Carly might know better than me. Hello from Niagara. Collecting gift baskets of great items for women and children across country in their local shelters, I should say. You could replicate this event across Canada, I should say. Gift baskets, laundry baskets full of great ideas, great gifts for women and children. Don't forget to shop on the Red Market if you're looking for things for your upcoming golf tournaments this summer. Everything you purchase on the Red Market, a percentage goes back to shelter. And take part in all of the shelter fundraising that happens prior to the National Sales Conference. This is the Ride for Shelter, the motorcycle riders for shelter, that photo at the bottom of the screen. And we also do fundraising, great shelter auction at the conference, but there will be some other pre-conference shelter fundraisers taking place as well.
Can I ask about the ride? How long have they been doing the ride for
Oh gosh, the Ride for Shelter is it's been taking place at Head Start and National Sales Conference, I believe, about 6 years.
6 years?
Something, I may be wrong, but it's a great event and they raise a lot of money.
And they also, I understand everybody on this team gets a nickname as part of this.
Oh, you know what? There are some really cool rider nicknames. You get a leather vest. I don't know all the ins and outs of what happens on those bikes because I have managed to avoid being on the back of one of those bikes, Mike. But if you're interested in, if you're into motorcycle riding, Josh Nelson and John Ripko from Calgary can get you signed up for that. It's a really fun event.
They're a tight-knit group.
Yeah. Lots of great networking that happens there. And other ideas, again, maybe you want to set up a personal online fundraising page for your birthday and ask friends and family to donate in honor of your birthday, maybe a milestone anniversary. Let's say you've been in real estate for 10 years, 20 years. Why not ask for donations of, $50, $100 in honor of your milestone anniversary? Do a food, clothing, or gift card drive for your local shelter. Shelters operate on really lean budgets. So anything you can do to bring a smile to the faces of women and children staying at the shelters, just make their lives a little brighter. And, it's just a great thing to do, really feel good thing. Again, watch for the shelter blooms that will be on sale on the Red Market later this summer. They're a great pop-by gift. They come packaged with Royal LePage branding and Shelter Foundation branding. You can attach your business card.
And instructions on how to grow them.
Instructions on how to plant the bulbs.
Yes, I required that. And I gave some to my neighbor, and he was so happy to receive them as well.
There's a double-barreled sort of bonus to the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation Shelter Blooms. You go and you distribute them and you deliver them to your clients in the fall, and then help them or instruct them how to plant them. And then in the spring, when the blooms come out, when the bulbs actually bloom in the spring, it's another great time to touch base with them. Hey, how are your Royal LePage Shelter Foundation tulips looking? Go and take pictures. Maybe plant them in a public place in your community if you have a community garden, or even something like a school or a nursing home. And it's a great opportunity to plant them in the fall and go back in the spring and erect a sign that says that you've donated those tulip bulbs in honor of raising profile of domestic violence and stopping violence in Canadian families. And again, I said it before, during the holiday season, maybe send a card to your clients saying that you've made a donation in their honor. So what's coming up this year as we wrap this up? We're turning 20 this year, 2 decades of giving back to the communities where you live and work. So it's a great milestone to celebrate. 20 is a nice round number. So maybe you want to organize a fundraiser in your office and set a goal of raising $20,000. Or what about looking ahead to our actual official birthday, which is August 26th. We have our founding documents in the files that say August 26, 1998 was our first day of operations. What about getting everyone together in the office to donate $20 on our official birthday? Can you imagine if 18,000 plus Royal LePage realtors and real estate agents across Canada donated $20 on our official birthday? What an amazing fundraiser that would be. If you're a commission donor, what about increasing your donation by $20 per deal this year? Or if you're new to the commission donor program, why not sign up to donate $20 per deal and let your clients know that in honor of our 20th anniversary, that's what you're doing? Or maybe collect $20 gift cards to donate to your local shelter. Wouldn't it be nice to call all of your clients or even friends and family and just let them know we've been around for 20 years helping literally hundreds of thousands of women and children escape domestic violence, and you're collecting $20 gift cards to local grocery stores and restaurants that you can donate to your local shelter. Of course, National Sales Conference coming up in Halifax in September. Sign up for that and maybe bring an auction item that profiles your unique thing. I don't know if you're known for honey, if you're known for loving red wine, if you're known for wearing funky socks, why not bring a little auction item that you can donate with your business cards? Gives you a little bit of profile and some networking opportunities at our National Sales Conference, at our amazing silent and live auctions. And again, watch out for our next Challenge for Shelter Trek announcement later this year. And I encourage you to sign up. If you've never done it before, you're given quite an amount of time. You're given a sufficient amount of time to train for it and raise money for it. And it's an amazing experience. And of course, our National Garage Sale for Shelter, which I've mentioned, here's the date, Saturday, May 12th, the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend. Really great way of raising your individual profile and your company's profile in your community. This is actually our 10th annual National Garage Sale for Shelter in our 20th year. So the 10th annual is a great milestone, and we really want as many Royal LePage offices to sign up as possible to help us break all records in this milestone year. If your office maybe doesn't quite have the physical space to do a garage sale, maybe you don't have a parking lot or some open space, you might want to look at using a community location like a curling rink or, a hall that's available. Or you can even do home-based garage sales. Why don't you and your fellow realtors do garage sale at your own location, your own home, I should say. We map all of the garage sale locations on the Royal LePage national website. So again, it just gives you some profile. You can even ask your clients and your family members to hold a garage sale at their home and donate towards the Garage Sale for Shelter, with all funds going to your local shelter.
And can I ask, in terms of the Garage Sale for Shelter, just you provide them with a kit to help? Because I know sometimes when I talk to new offices and they're like, well, we worry about the organizational. So can you talk a little bit about how you help them?
Well, again, I can't say enough about our amazing Carly Neal, who oversees, she's probably laughing at her desk right now, oversees the National Garage Sale for Shelter coordination. Yes, we give you tips, tools, resources, banners, aprons, balloons, things that you can use to, again, brand this as the National Garage Sale for Shelter, stickers, lots of things that we will give you as a kit in addition to templates if you want to order or if you want to organize your own materials. The other thing that's really important, I should say, again, the Red Market has great things like that tent that's showing at the bottom of the screen there. You can have a branded tent. What I should say is that Saturday, May 12th is our national date, but we are completely understanding and flexible. If that date doesn't work for you and you want to choose another Saturday or a Sunday, in June, July, August, if there are any restrictions in your community or conflicts on that date, by all means, give us a different date. We will still promote your garage sale on the national website, royallepage.ca, in the National Garage Sale for Shelter section, and we will keep that up for as long as your garage sale is in the planning works. In other words, if your garage sale is in July, if our event is in May, we'll still point people to your direction. So we encourage you to try to use the national date, Saturday, May 12th. Again, great tie-in with Mother's Day weekend. But if for any reason that doesn't work for you, please let us know and we'll slot you into a different time slot. So in conclusion, what do you gain from being involved with the Shelter Foundation? I would argue, and I think many of you on the webinar who are involved and your peers, you get to meet new people, like-minded people who really want to do good things and give back. Build your referral network by meeting other Royal LePagers who have this mindset as well. Increase your profile in the community, which means that you're going to meet new people. And as we know in real estate, the more people that we meet, the more opportunities to talk about what we do as real estate professionals, the more likely that you are going to get those new clients and get those referrals. You're going to have fun. There is, as much as we support a serious cause in the community, helping to end domestic violence and helping to provide a safe place for women and children to go, the fact that we are literally saving lives, we are still making sure that in doing that, we are having fun together by hosting fun events and enjoying ourselves, working together as a team. You're going to feel a great sense of satisfaction and pride. I have spoken with other Royal LePage agents across the country, many Royal LePage agents who've said this is one of the most rewarding things that they do as part of their business is giving back to the Shelter Foundation and making a difference. So that is what you can do. You will more often gain more than you give in being involved with the Shelter Foundation. I want to just thank our national sponsors, TD Canada Trust, Atlas Canada, Genworth Canada. They help us provide all those materials for the National Garage Sale for you. They're great partners, and I know many of them also help you in your offices. So thank you to them. Make sure you follow us in social media. Follow us, repost what we post. We will repost what you post about Shelter Foundation activities and anything that you're doing for the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation. Remember, social media is all about that broad reach, that sort of viral effect. We will repost. So make sure you tag us. Make sure you follow us. Shelter events that you're doing, we will list on the royallepage.ca national website, and you can find lots of resources in the RLP network. So that's a lot of content, and I think we have a few minutes left. I don't know if there's really any questions that have come in on our live chat here. I don't know if I've just been bombarding you with information. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye. They really haven't been. Although at one point I think a lot of people had full screen on because, like, I was like, I asked a question, nobody answered. So I was like, okay, I get a feeling a lot of people just went to full screen, didn't see the chat. But I'd love for if you guys have any questions about what it's like to do this stuff. Again, we saw a lot of new people who had signed up for this, a lot of people who perhaps haven't been involved in the past, and there are a lot of questions around it. So I'm going to ask the first question, and it goes back to one of the things that you mentioned in there. And when you talked about having an event, you talked about setting that goal, setting a fundraising goal. So, like for me, I got nervous because I was like, I don't know how I would, if I was running my first ever event, I said, I want to get myself out there. How do you set that fundraising goal? And like, do you guys help with that? And then,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's a great question, Mike. And I think the first thing I would say is that walk before you run. Just if you want to do a small fundraising event to sort of test the waters, not everyone's going to go right out of the gate with a big golf tournament or a gala. That's okay. In setting a fundraising goal, you actually step back and you actually work on your budget first. You look at what the ticket prices may be. So what's the appetite in your community? $50, $40, $100. You look at your ticket price. You look at ways of raising money, like through an auction, like a silent auction or something of that nature. You look at what your expenses are going to be. If there's a cost to, obviously for food and beverages. And also you want to look at other ways, in raising revenue, like sponsorship. So what you end up doing is you may discover that you believe that you can raise gross, $20,000 and your expenses are $10,000. And that means your net proceeds to the shelter is $10,000. 20,000 minus 10 equals 10. So that's ultimately your fundraising goal. It kind of works to put those numbers on paper. Having said that, I would suggest that setting a goal is really just about setting an intention to do a fundraising event and ensuring that you have some proceeds going to shelter. So even if you decide that your goal is to get a silent auction at your event and to get 25 items, and all the money from that silent auction goes to the Shelter Foundation in support of your local shelter, that's a goal of having a silent auction with 25 items, and then you work towards that. So I think it's just about being kind of thoughtful and recognizing that you are working towards a common purpose of raising money for your local shelter.
Gotcha. So have you considered a challenge like Iceland, but something on a smaller scale and is not as physically challenging? Now that's coming in from David Todd. I'm on board. I want to do like a walk around the block. Can I do that?
Okay. Well, David, that's a great question. And you know what, I would, I guess my answer to that is the challenge for shelter treks, which are requiring you to raise a significant amount of money. It's a minimum of $5,000, along with covering your own costs. At the end of the day, the fundraising is a lot easier when you are asking people to support you to be doing something that's really difficult. In other words, trekking, 100 kilometers plus, sleeping in tents, climbing mountains. The harder it is, the more likely it is that you're going to be able to raise funds. Now, having said that, you saw some examples of challenges that people did more locally in their communities, like
stand on your roof.
Well, sleeping on your roof for a week, or
except for the winter, it seemed pretty easy.
Except for the winter, but cycling events or a paddling event or something that is maybe on a smaller scale. So I will definitely, keep that in mind, David, in future. But what we've discovered is that this is the challenge for shelter treks are really a certain group of people that really, really want to go hard, for a year in their training and in their fundraising. So that keeps them motivated. But certainly we'll keep it in mind and look for opportunities. I would suggest, David, for sure, join in on things like the Ride for Shelter before the National Sales Conference and things that are maybe a little less physically demanding, and get involved with that.
Yeah, and David's in the Toronto area. There's a lot of stuff going on here that happens. So there's a lot of stuff. And where could they find that again? You said on the Royal LePage site, there's a list of.
Yeah, so the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation fundraisers are listed on the royallepage.ca/shelter. That's the URL for our foundation, royallepage.ca/shelter. But that's unique to the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation events that offices and individuals organize. But David, definitely, as I say, Carly and I, we'd be happy to talk to you if you want to put something together in the Toronto area. I did hear of an agent at one point talking about organizing a beach-oriented challenge for shelter, but to be honest, that's something that I don't know that it didn't really get off the ground, Mike. I think it's these intense, real physical challenges that really draw people out. But yeah, for sure, we'll keep that in mind, David, and think about if there's something a little more modest.
Yeah, well, I'm pointing out there's a lot of events like the fishing derby that they do out west, where it's an open invitation. You could sign up for it, those kind of things. So if he's looking for that kind of thing, I'm looking for more questions. I'm not really seeing any coming in. That's good. I assume we're good. I just want to reinforce to everybody here. You can see Shannon's information on the page. royallepage.ca/shelter is there as well. A direct phone number. So again, if you do have questions further beyond this, and as she's mentioned a couple times, the team that's there, ready and waiting to help you out.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that. In case you forget in future, the easiest way to reach us is shelterfoundation@royallepage.ca. So that's the email address for our team, shelterfoundation@royallepage.ca. And we really want to talk to you about your ideas. We're happy to brainstorm with you. A lot of the best ideas come out of just a discussion, and then we can link you up with other Royal LePagers that have done perhaps similar things across Canada. Again, Rebecca with her Easter egg hunt was a really successful event. If you're curious about those kinds of things, get in touch with us, and we'll get you together.
Nice. So I just want to mention to everybody here as well, you can go to royallepage.ca/training. You can check out on the top right, you'll see webinars. You can check out our upcoming webinars. We got a great webinar coming up on March 8th with Bomb. I got another question coming in. Oh, you're going to answer it on the chat? Oh,
it's just David has asked about the ride for shelter, and it's a motorcycle ride that takes place again before the National Sales Conference. It's and for this year in particular, David is asking if there are motorcycles available. So, David, that's something we have to look into a little further with the organizers. So feel free to be in touch with us about that specific event and any other event, and we'll give you the details. So thanks, everybody. And if there's anybody left on the chat, we are going to answer questions. We're going to keep this chat open. Can we do that, Mike, for a little while longer? I know that it's 3:00 and we probably have to wrap up, but we can keep answering questions.
I can keep broadcasting for 8 hours.
Yeah,
Shannon,
we'll keep broadcasting.
We're staying in this room until
all the questions are answered.
Oh, we're not doing a fundraising thing now?
We're not fundraising. Thanks everybody. If you have to leave, by all means do. We're going to answer a couple of questions here.
I just pointed out, like Jerry's mentioning in the chat, that they do, they'll help you. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to ask that a question, because I know I've heard they're a very tight-knit family and they help each other. I think there was some situations last time where somebody had a bike that was in repair, and they actually ended up borrowing somebody else's bike because it was going to Vegas. It was a crazy thing.
The bike situation is kind of interesting because just for this year in particular, like in Nova Scotia, there are no bikes available to rent. So Jerry Rush, you made a really good point about often renting a bike at the location where the conference is being held. My understanding is that's unfortunately not an option for this year. But again, if you're interested, get in touch with either Josh Nelson or John Ripko, HRIPKO,
yep,
in Calgary. They can give you more details. Jerry also made a comment about they do an amazing golf tournament in Red Deer, Royal LePage Network, and the whole office gets together, the whole community comes together. They raise a ton of money. So definitely golf tournaments are a really, really great way to go if your office or your community doesn't have a high profile golf tournament that kind of gets everybody there. Golf tournaments are great. And we have a guide for running a golf tournament that's available to you. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, so you can get things going.
Yeah, I think we've run out of questions, but
I think so as well. So I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in. I hope you found something valuable, useful, something that's really getting your gears going. And again, in this 20th year of the Royal LePage Shelter Foundation, in the 10th year of the National Garage Sale, it is a great opportunity. And I kind of mentioned the bulbs for shelter because I'll say my hairdresser himself, we were chatting and I was telling him how unsuccessful my tulip bulbs were. And he actually was like, oh, I plant hundreds of tulip bulbs. And led to this whole conversation, which again, organic talks about what I'm doing, but
why we do what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
without me having to, say that, oh, I work in real estate and this, that, and the other, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I'll invite everybody here also on the royallepage.ca/training site. You can check out the training that my team is just in the process. We're finalizing everything, launching next Tuesday, royallepage.ca/training, convert more online leads to sales. You can check that out on royallepage.ca/training. So thanks everybody for tuning in. The chat will keep open for just a little bit longer. But again, if you have questions, you can really easily send a quick email and we'll See you next time.
Thanks, everybody.